My mother told me about him once.
This man has been asleep for a very long time.
You're saying that he's not normal?
Could such a human being really exist?
Who said it had to be a human?
He's called Grave. Call him beyond the grave.
There's something fascinating about the way Yasuhiro Nito designs weapons. The visionary creator behind the 1998 masterpiece, Trigun, a series that proved a weapon could be more than steel and gunpowder. It could be a reflection of the soul. In Trigun, Vash carried a revolver that represented restraint, a weapon capable of destroying entire cities, held by a man who refused to use it. But years later, in 2002, Nito would create another series that would make its debut on the PlayStation 2.
Gungrave.
One that explored a very different idea. Not the story of mercy, not a story of a wandering pacifist, but a story of what happens when a man dies and comes back with nothing left to lose. Because when that man returned, he didn't carry mercy, he carried judgment. 2 pistols forged for execution, and a coffin heavy enough to bury an army. This is Beyond the Grave. Today, we're looking at why Grave's weapons in Gungrave are some of the most iconic designs ever created in gaming. Because these weapons are not just tools of destruction, they are the physical weight of a past life. Before he was known as Beyond the Grave, he was Brandon Heat, a street thug surviving in a world that rewarded ambition more than loyalty. But Brandon wasn't chasing power or status. To him, those things meant nothing. What defined Brandon Heat was loyalty. And that loyalty led him into a mafia organization known as Millennium, alongside his closest friend, Harry McDowell.
Hi there. We're with Millennium.
The two entered the underworld together, but they were never the same. Harry dreamed of ruling the organization. Brandon believed in protecting it. Harry planned, Brandon executed. And in that violent world, Brandon became Millennium's most reliable enforcer, known in the crime world as a sweeper. He was precise, efficient, emotionless. Over time, Brandon eliminated threat after threat until he was no longer just a soldier of Millennium. He became its greatest weapon. But loyalty in the criminal world is fragile. As Harry's ambitions grew, their brotherhood began to disappear. Power changes people. It convinces them old loyalties are obstacles. And eventually, Harry made a decision that would reshape everything. He betrayed Brandon Heat, the man he once called brother. Brandon didn't die in a heroic final stand. He died quietly, shot by the very man he trusted the most. And that should have been the end. But in the world of Gungrave, death is only another experiment waiting to happen. Through necrolization, Millennium learned how to resurrect fallen soldiers, creating something neither human nor undead. Something in between. the perfect weapon. And Brandon Heat became the perfect candidate. When he rose from the grave, the man who returned was no longer Brandon Heat. He returned with a single purpose: to seek retribution against Millennium and stop Bloody Harry. From that moment forward, Brandon Heat became Beyond the Grave, a silent executioner walking a path that could only end one way.
I'll kill you all over again.
Graves' first weapons are his twin pistols, known as Cerberus. The name itself carries meaning. In mythology, Cerberus is the guardian of the underworld, the creature that stands at the gates between life and death. And that symbolism fits Grave perfectly, because Grave himself exists between those two worlds, neither alive nor fully dead. Each pistol is enormous, far larger than any realistic handgun. Yet Grave wields them effortlessly. Every movement is precise, every shot deliberate. And when multiple enemies are sighted, Grave will do his bullet dance as each enemy falls, one by one, until there's nothing left but bullet holes. Just a pure, unstoppable force. Judgment in one hand, death in the other. Two weapons that reflect the life he lost and the fate he now carries. But the true centerpiece of Graves' arsenal is the Coffin, also known as Death Hauler. A massive steel coffin chained to his back. Inside it lies an entire battlefield's worth of weaponry. Machine guns, heavy artillery, missile launchers, weapons designed to annihilate entire armies. But the coffin is more than a weapon container. It's symbolism. Because Brandon Heat is already dead, and the coffin is a reminder of that truth. Every step Grave takes, he carries the weight of his own death, the weight of betrayal, the weight of everything he lost. And the coffin forces him to remember it, every moment. Gungrave's design philosophy sets it apart from typical shooters. What makes Gungrave special is that its weapons are not designed for just spectacle. They're designed for storytelling. Grave doesn't carry swords of destiny. He doesn't wield magical artifacts. He carries the tools of violence. But those tools are framed through tragedy. The pistols represent the man he once was. The coffin represents the life that was buried. And the journey he walks is one of revenge. But it's also a quest for closure. Grave isn't fighting because he wants to. He's fighting because there is no other path left. A man of his word, even in death. The true Grim Reaper.
Even from the grave, the man maintains his loyalty to the organization. So loyal is Brandon Heat. No, that name is no longer appropriate. Brandon Heat is no more. You have come back from beyond the grave. So that will be your name. From this point on, you are Beyond the Grave. Keep sleeping, Grave.
The reason Graves' arsenal has remained iconic for decades isn't just the visual design, although the design itself is unforgettable. Twin oversized pistols, a man in a black and red suit, dragging a massive coffin behind him. But what makes it so legendary is the meaning behind it. Graves' weapons are not symbols of power, they're the symbols of consequence. Every bullet he fires is a reminder of the life that was destroyed. Every battle, a step closer to confronting Harry McDowell, the brother who betrayed him. And the tragedy of Gungrave is this: Grave never wanted power. He never wanted revenge. He only wanted loyalty. And when that loyalty was broken, it created one of the most unforgettable characters in gaming history. Gungrave may not be the most famous game ever made, but its imagery has endured for a reason. Because the image of a silent man walking through gunfire, dragging a coffin behind him, is unforgettable. Not because it's cool, but because it's tragic. A man who died once and came back only to finish what was left undone. And that is why Graves' arsenal remains one of the most iconic weapon designs in gaming history. Thanks again for watching, everybody.